you, Billy. Nice wave. All right, this is going to be my persuasive speech. Josh Bozeman, Marta Belt is the instructor, Ivy Tech Com 101. Good afternoon, audience. Thank you for coming out this afternoon. My name is Josh Bozeman. This is for Marta Belt's class. This is the persuasive speech. In a June 6, 2008 editorial from the New York Times, the editorial board of America's most notable newspaper argued, quote, "The Louisiana state legislature has overwhelmingly approved a bill that seeks to undercut the teaching of evolution in the public schools," end quote. This comment was made in reference to a bill that, as the Times itself admitted, makes no mention of creationism or religion in any manner, and in fact disavows any mention of religion in the science curriculum. The bill simply stated the following, quote, "This board shall allow and assist teachers, principals, and other school administrators to create and foster an environment within the public elementary and secondary schools that promotes critical thinking skills, logical analysis, and open and objective discussion of scientific theories being studied, including, but not limited to, evolution, the origins of life, global warming, and human cloning." This fairly innocent and innocuous statement, meant to ensure free inquiry among the state students into important scientific topics, caused such outrage from the editorial board that it proclaimed, quote, "This bill would have the pernicious effect of implying that evolution is only weakly supported and that there are valid competing scientific theories when there are not. If the legislature were to go down the path, it would lead likely to a, quote, shakier understanding of science, according to the Times." The editorial finished by urging Bobby Jindal, the governor of Louisiana, to veto the bill. Jindal, who majored in biology at Brown University, had to know that the theory of evolution is, quote, unchallenged, central organizing principle for modern biology, the editorial argued. Will critique of the theory of evolution in America's schools lead to a shakier understanding of science, as the Times claims? Or will it make our schools, in turn, our students, stronger and more apt to deal with the scientific struggles we face in the new century? I'd argue that the world won't come to an abrupt end by teaching the nation's students to constantly question the working theories we deal with in science. The threat from creationism, intelligent design theory, and other theories that don't fully comport with the narrow Darwinian interpretation of life's struggles over the past 4+ billion years just doesn't exist. Many highly qualified scientists and academics in various fields would argue that the Darwinian explanation of life does not fully explain everything, and they would surely take umbrage with the claim that the theory is entirely unchallenged. Who should we trust in this matter? Should it be those that argue the sky is falling and that such critical thinking on this subject will lead to the downfall of society as we know it? Or should we follow those who take a more moderate approach, realizing that the United States still leads the country and really the world in every conceivable measure in science, even though doubts about evolution are higher in this country than in any other industrialized nation in the world? The answer to that question is clear, I think. And the good news is the world will not come to an end. It'll keep on going on. This United States will continue to dominate in science for many years to come. The Discovery Institute, a Seattle-based think tank, published what it calls and updates a scientific dissent from Darwinism. The list starts with the following statement, quote, "We are skeptical of the claims for the ability of random mutation and natural selection to account for the complexity of life on Earth. Careful examination of the evidence for Darwinian theory should be encouraged," end quote. The statement has been signed by over 500 scientists with PhDs who challenge the strict Darwinian theory of evolution. The list includes scientists in several fields who have advanced degrees, all of them PhDs, in fields related to the study of evolution and other sciences. One of those signatories is Michael Behe, a professor of biological sciences from Lehigh University in Pennsylvania. Behe received his doctorate in chemistry from the University of Pennsylvania and has been working on the theory of design in biological systems for decades. He acted as an expert witness in the Kitzmiller versus Dover area school board trial in 2005. The trial was in response to a small disclaimer in a high school biology textbook that noted students, that alerted students that a book critiquing the Darwinian theory of evolution was available in the school library. And if they decided to access it, or if they wanted to, it was available to them. The parents of some students brought suit, arguing that the statement was a ploy to teach children creationism and attack evolution. In the end, Judge John Jones ruled that intelligent design was a religious idea and was therefore illegal. After the ruling, Behe responded by saying that scientists and science itself cannot be adjudicated and won over by popular opinion. Biology just screams design at every turn. The cell is run by amazingly complex functional machinery that in any other context would be immediately recognized as design. He explained all of this after the ruling in the Kitzmiller trial. We can debate the theory that the theory of evolution doesn't explain everything about the biological history of life in the past 4 billion years. And I'd support such a debate among students and school administrators and teachers. What isn't at question is the fact that knowledgeable scientists around the world disagree with the statement that evolution, in a Darwinian sense, is unchallenged. It's just not true. Scientists are challenging evolution all the time, and more of them are coming forward every day. It seems that one can work as a respectable science, earn a doctorate, and still challenge ideas that some claim are wholly unchallenged. The claim that allowing students to discuss these ideas will lead the nation down to a path of failure is frankly absurd on the face of it, and the statistics don't lead to that conclusion. The statistics lead to the conclusion that the U.S. dominates in science. According to an article in Christianity Today, the United States still leads other nations in the Nobel Prizes in scientific fields, including medicine, physics, chemistry, and biology. The article credits the fact that the United States spends much more money in terms of private organizations and federal money that contribute highly to the research in scientific fields. We do so much more than in Europe, where they can contribute only 1.8% of their GDP compared to the 2.7% in the U.S. It could easily be argued that medicine and chemistry are closely related to the study of evolution, as well is biology, of course. And dominance in these fields exposes the lie that the more people that the theory of evolution don't believe in it, that we would fall behind its science. It's just not true. The evidence that this is not the case just doesn't exist. To win such an argument, you'd have to conclude that all the scientists on the descent from Darwin list are buffoons that have no expertise in their particular fields. The same goes for the several thousand scientists who self-identify as full-blown creationists, whether they be old Earth creationists or young Earth creationists around the country and around the world. Such an argument is incredulous. Americans in general tend to fall on the side of creationism over evolution all the time, and yet we haven't seen a scientific meltdown